convene the meeting, and I will open our meeting with a prayer, and then we'll stand for a pledge. Lord, thank you for this morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be here with my fellow commissioners and our county clerk as we take up the business here before us this morning. And as we look at our agenda, Lord, we see that we will be setting levies for this coming year, and reminds me of where the money comes from, and that's the good people of Laclede County. It's their money. It's ours to take care of and to invest to the best of our ability to provide the services that it's intended to do so. So Lord, as we take up the tax levy hearing, as we take up the other business that comes before us, we just continually ask for your guidance, wisdom and direction, and just your presence here with us this morning so that we can think clearly through all issues before us. And Lord, may everything we do bring honor and glory to your name. Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May you see.
Gentlemen,
Gentlemen, the first thing we have is minutes from August 5th. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes from August 5th is written.
I'll second it.
Have a motion second to approve August 5th minutes as written. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then this is the approved budget that the board voted on last night. So for this year.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions?
I always have questions. How many students do you have?
Well, we're doing our screening this week, so I don't have an exact number for this year. But typically we run between 35 and 40 in the classes, and then as they turn 3 and move on over to ECSE, then we add more. So I would say somewhere between 50 and 60 for the whole year. I mean, they may not be there the whole year, but that many students.
So you don't see any changes there, it's pretty consistent.
Actually, yeah, it's pretty, I was kind of concerned, the ECSE added in a 3-year-old class. this year, and I thought, okay, well, that might, cause it's a 4-day-a-week, 3-year-old class, and I was kinda wondering, but we have one class that's, are coming back that we had from last year, so that's full one afternoon, so we've got 3 classes that, but we've got quite the list of people that have already called this summer to do screening.
Looks like you're not increasing staff or anything, or managing that.
Now, we did one thing, on the occupational therapy. She has just been coming 1 day a week, but we have so many kiddos, especially in the one class that are on the autism spectrum, and she sees most of them, so the board group, she's gonna come 2 days a week this year.
I've seen that went from
Yeah.
10 to 25.
Yeah. So she's gonna be there 2 days.
So, any thoughts on why that number is increased, just a reflection of society and culture and just rates
I
of
think-
autism?
Yeah, I think so, really. Yeah, and really, there's no, I mean, at 3, they can go to ECSC, but we're one of the first, other than First Steps, that goes into the home, but when they go into the home, their therapies are typically once every 2 weeks, when the therapists go into the homes for First Steps. So LEEP is one of the first avenues for help here in the county with autism.
Looking at your financial statement, is your, what are you expecting your cash balance to be at the end of this year?
Probably around, I mean, the
I'm
same,
not sure
it
I
tends
see
to
it
run.
in here, I probably didn't look very close, but I'm not sure I see it.
This is kind of what it is run, I mean, this is a comparison, I didn't make copies for everybody, but that's for the last several years, what the actual budget has been.
I see your budget, what I was looking at was your cash, what your cash balance might be.
So, yeah, I mean, usually, typically, 200 to 300, I mean, usually around 200. And,
So it looks like you carry enough that you can go a year if you didn't have any funding at all, which I'm not suggesting that. It looks like.
Well, that's a good balance. I mean, that's what you need to be able to predict and have out there to be able to sustain
right.
anyway. And that's just sustainability, so that is. Yeah.
I mean, one of the, we did finally, I don't know if you've been out that way, but they got our road fixed.
In Payroll,
After- Yes.
Nice.
I mean, after dodging those potholes for 17 years since I've been out there, well, I've been out there 20, but yeah, they finally got that.
Those were battles.
We all contributed to do the initial part, and the way I understand Special Olympics Street is supposed to take over, yeah. Now that it's fixed, so that's wonderful. And we're looking at possibly, some of the things on the table are redoing our parking lot, which needs to be redone. And then our roof, we had repaired 10 years ago, it had a 10-year warranty, and this is the last year on it, so that may be something that we have to consider as well.
We also had a 10-year on ours, and we had it, I'm gonna say, retreated this year. And we were able to secure an additional 10-year warranty. So you, without telling you what to do, but just as a suggestion or idea, you might look at your previous warranty or whatever, and if it's like ours, then you can have that retreated, and you might be able to get another 10-year without having to do a whole new.
Well, that's what they did 10 years ago, was treated, IV was who did
Okay.
it, they gave us that 10-year warranty, so if they can, check in and see if they can.
See if it's still good enough shape that they can extend that another 10 years or so. Do we have any questions for Jana?
She touched on the one I had.
Okay.
Pretty well there, like you said, I mean, I seen that deal there on the occupational therapy, but if you're increasing,
Yeah, she's,
the student, and you're increasing time as well, I mean, that's gonna make a big jump, so.
she's gonna, like I said, be there on Tuesdays, Thursdays, both instead of just Thursdays, so that'll be good for the little ones. And then she does some therapies for First Steps as well, so, she sees kids in it. you know, first steps is always in the home with the kids. They do the therapy in the home, and yet to get them ready to go into ECSC at 3, you know, it's good for them to come. They come 2 hours of a morning, the young ones from 9 to 11, and it's just a good source to get them ready to come in, have some structure and get them
A
used
little
to it.
explanation
Yeah.
how it all works.
Define ECSC for me.
Early childhood special education. Yeah. Over at East, well, I say,
At Eastern.
I'm still calling it Easter, it's not Easter now, the Early Childhood Center.
Okay, so seeing no further questions, then we have before us, and for reasons that were established well before the 3 of us were here, this is the only levy that we are asked to approve other than our own, and so that's why Jana's here this morning. It looks like, what we have in front of us, their pro forma, is that they are asking their levy to be set at 0.0627. Last year it was 0.0652. So I'll give you a chance to look at her pro forma, and then I would entertain a motion to approve the levy as presented. So are you in this for another 2 or 3 or 4 years?
Maybe 3 or 4. I just turned 62. So, my husband's gonna retire at the end of this month,
Okay.
and so, yeah, but I'll stay till, anyway,
Yeah, so
65.
just try to make this a funny story while the guys are looking it over is, so we have, a lady that I know, and, her husband's, going to retire before her, but then there was talk about maybe she would retire at the same time he did, but I don't think he's real fond of that. He wanted to retire first to get some things done on his own,
Yeah,
so.
well, Ronald, he turned 65 in June, so he went ahead and retired, and of course, you know, once you do that, and draw Social Security, you can't, you know, there's a limit on how much you can make until you turn full retirement age. I said, okay, you got 2 years. I'll keep working here for 2 years, you have 2 years, so and then you might have to go back to work at 67. I saw a sign the other day, and I told him, I said, I need to make this, it was a cross-stitch sign, it said retirement, twice the husband, half the money. I was like,
I believe at this time, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve as they permitted on the pro forma.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the levy for LEEP at 0.0627. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Approved. Jana, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
These years were
Glad you
run
got
quickly,
your,
don't
they
they?
have, yeah. They have. Glad to see you got your
Uh-huh.
parking lot
Yeah.
taken care of.
Yes, the road, yes.
The
it
road.
is.
The road, the entrance of the road.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
badly needed.
Yes.
Yeah, you could park a 3-bed, 2-bath in it.
Yeah, yes. All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, next item on our agenda would actually be the first item, that's the county tax rate hearing. And, so this is a public, hearing. So what we do, and I didn't see anybody here from Jana, for the LEEP, I should have asked. But for the county, do we have anyone here that wants to speak to the county levy before we review that and take our vote? Okay. All right, seeing none, then we'll go ahead and look at our levies, and we have 2. We have our road and bridge levy, and then we also have our general revenue. So I'll take that up, general revenue first. And again, we have our pro forma that the the state auditors reviewed. Last year, our levy was .2996. Is that right, Linda?
That was the ceiling.
That was the
The
ceiling.
levy was .0271, because we had sales tax rollback.
Okay, and this year, we have it proposed at 2881.
And that's, again, the ceiling, the sales tax rollback takes you .0457. And I'll pass this around.
Yeah, I don't see that.
That's, yeah, because they don't know what the sales tax rollback is.
Right.
Are you familiar with that? You
No.
want Linda to explain that?
Yes.
Linda,
Not
what-
100%, right.
Underneath the 25, and those are prior years on there too, but underneath the 25, the calculation, the formulation is we take our assessed value, we take sales tax into consideration, because if you consider this a bubble, if sales tax goes up, levies go down, but the auditor's office just says, here's your maximum that you can have, you have to work within that and calculate your sales tax to come up with what your levy should be on property, because of your sales tax being an offset. So last year in '24, the 0271, I think, is in green down at the bottom. Okay, so the calculation brought it up with our sales tax last year, it was a little bit higher, so therefore we had to lower the property tax rollback. With this year's sales tax being, a little less than it was last year, and with assessed values going up, which this is all part of it in that calculation too, then our levy this year calculates out to 0471, whatever that number is.
457.
Yeah. 0457. It's basically containing us within the allowances that the auditors give us and the formula that we have to use, sales tax versus supplementing with your levy.
And this goes back to a voter-approved, ballot question back probably in the 80s, if I have my time frame right. And, so, counties were able to put the question before their voters that if they approved a half-cent sales tax, it would roll back their property tax. And so that's what's happened, is we have that half-cent sales tax, and that rolls back our property tax. And as Linda just said, those two tie together, and as one goes up, the other goes down. As one goes down, the other goes up. And it's just the formula that's used to reflect the intentions of that half-cent sales tax as it's compared to sales tax. If we could get sales tax increasing through whatever way that we could, one would be the online sales tax. If that is impacted by this, and I think there's some question on that, and we haven't really found that answer out yet, but if sales tax would grow, then conceivably we could roll our levy back to zero.
Like even further, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the tie or the correlation between those two. And then there's a formula, and I think Linda reviews that in June or July,
Which
then
is that?
there's kind of a, yeah. So at this time then, it sounds like our levy that we would vote on would be .0457. Is that correct, Linda?
I think that's what that says down there.
Okay, so I would entertain any questions regarding the levy, and if not, then I would entertain a motion to approve as presented per formula.
I don't have any questions.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the .0457 for the formula.
Okay?
I'll
There's a
second.
Okay, we have a motion and second to approve our county levy at .0457. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Levy approved. Hearing on that one's concluded. Next, we'll take up the hearing on the road and bridge. Linda, you want us to initial this one here?
Yes, please.
I get a copy of this.
Yes.
wouldn't.
Okay, what's the proposed levy here?
That one doesn't have any sales tax, it's just face value.
Just what it is, so it's the 02353?
Is that down there on this one? Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. And that's a slight decrease from last year.
correct. Most levies are seeing decreases.
Okay, so the next one we have would be road and bridge, and I'll pass it down. Last year, the levy was set at 0.2435. This year, the levy is, 0.2353 pending approval of the commission, so I'll pass it down.
Basically, all the same.
And this generates, Linda, correct me if I'm wrong, about 400,000-ish, something like that, maybe.
About that? Yeah.
About, I mean, that's a pretty loose number, but it's,
Point 2353.
450 if everybody paid.
Okay.
And then the assessed value stayed as it is today. Which those are.
That's everything being current and paid.
Yes, yeah, if it was 100% paid today, that's what it would be.
I would go ahead and make a motion to approve as it is at a 2353, the road and bridge levy.
okay.
I'll second it.
Got a motion second to approve the levy as presented on the pro forma. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion levy approved. Good for another year. All right, next order of business would be CDT applications. Looks like we have two. First one's from the Eldridge Volunteer Fire Department, and they're requesting what was budgeted for them, which is $6,000, and they wanna buy gear, equipment, possible engine payments, and we have their application, and we have their, final 24 report as well.
Financial.
Yes. asking for 7,000.
No, because I brought that up to them. They get 6, but they've spent more than the 6, so that's what they were saying. I said, you know that it's at 6, and he goes, yeah.
Okay. Doesn't hurt to ask, so
Doesn't hurt
yes,
to ask.
right?
Just putting it out there, was it?
I don't think there's any fire district that's not surviving on the fees that they've got.
Exactly, for the most part.
They're just making it.
The way I'm understanding on a few of the ones that I've been to and visited with, they're just, they don't have anything to keep anything else going, they're just maintaining, that's it.
And they're struggling with
Nothing to get.
volunteers and
Nothing for any growth. They're just taking everything they got just to stay afloat.
Okay, we've reviewed the Eldridge Volunteer Fire Department CDT application. Do I have any questions? Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the Eldridge Fire Department CDD application for $6,000.
Second?
Yep, I'll second.
Have a motion second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And that motion to include the
24
24 final?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have, an application in 24 final from Nebo Falcon, and their request is for 7,000, but they know it's really 6,000.
Looked over something on, so. Maybe just we talked about it before or something. stuff, on a lot of that, and everything that they do they have a, certain determined amount of money that they have to put things out for bid as well?
It's, $12,000, Joe, I believe is the threshold that,
For them to do that?
I don't think it'd be any different than the county. I could stand to be corrected, but
Mhm.
I think the statutes, it's $12,000.
You bet.
Maybe 12.5, I'm not sure.
That's always the best practice to, get 2 or 3 verbal quotes, and that's what we've done here.
Correct.
If we put something
Still
out.
under that threshold, like you're saying?
Mhm. Yeah. Or if we put something out for bid and we didn't receive anything, then we would try to solicit quotes, after the, no bids came in.
Put some date for bid, yeah.
There's always there's the statutes and then a best practice problem.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Sometimes they don't always work together, evidently.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm gonna make a motion, CDT for Nebo Falcon Fire Protection District for $6,000.
I will second that motion
Okay,
for
we have a
$6,000.
And that motion would include the,
Financial, yes.
24 final, okay? So I have a motion second to approve, Nebo Falcon, CDT for 25 and 24 final. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
You want me to do,
CDT, oh, fine.
do some
Yeah.
scratching here?
You need to initial that front page, I think is what Linda's has doing, the actual.
I'll move them.
on both
And then you
of them,
will do the 6,000, he's not gonna scratch through there.
You can scratch through these.
That's what he's asking.
Yeah.
And where else do you need an initial?
On the 24 final.
Financial.
That one.
I'm not sure, did I initial twice on the other one?
Yeah, I think you get both. I think you did.
Yep.
Okay, next, we'll go into general county business.
We, gonna go into our application for driveway stuff. Has everybody had a chance to do anything with that?
What I'd like to do, and that was on my list as well, Joe, so let's just go ahead and do that. I'd like to bring in Theresa so that as we, look at this and we make our, final adjustments, then she'll have that ready to go. Ready to get, formalized for us.
I was in my box, I think we put it in there, but that's it.
I saw that, that's interesting.
That is very interesting. And that's kind of the same concept that I was thinking about there off of Jewel as well,
Right.
that box culvert.
Now,
I'm thinking about
main
these.
kitchen.
Drags page, little,
She's working on signs.
Oh, Linda's kitchen, oh. Okay. So Joe, I had some thoughts and I didn't go in, well, I guess I did go in your office, but I didn't shuffle around your,
What was that on the center, there on top?
well, maybe it was too obvious for me, I don't know.
But, so it didn't come through when I did try to forward it over, or email it to you, is what you're saying?
Well, I didn't get it that way either.
Yeah,
well, that could be me for sure, but
As technical as I am with that stuff.
That's why we'll take care of it now. Did we like the, Erik, go ahead and shut that door. So Theresa, what we're, discussing is our driveway, and entrance permit. And the reason why you're here is we make these changes then, so if you wanna make notes or whatever, so that we can,
Grab my
can
pen
get
and
this,
paper.
yeah, get this finalized. Are we in agreement on this, with the exception of the length? Did we wanna change the length? This seemed to be the, form that we would ask the applicant to, submit, and then we would,
As far as I'm concerned, yes, and after doing a little bit more measuring and looking at a few others and then turning some of my own equipment and stuff around, with trailers, I pulled a lot of trailers this past weekend, 2 or 3 different ones. Yeah, I think that this here is pretty good. I don't know if I like the permit part of it better than application. I mean, I guess that's either mayor's motto or however you wanna do that part. But yeah, I do believe the 24 foot would be a better fit.
okay, let me ask you this, cause it says 20-foot minimum. When our road and bridge inspector goes out to make that determination, if we left that at 20, and I'm just tossing this out there, if we left it at 20, but then in their determination it had to be greater than 20, could they not put that in there? I do see some on Normandy now that are only 20. Of course, I'm assuming we're gonna grandfather everything in. We're not gonna start to go out and replace hundreds of culverts because they're only 20 foot in length. So, I'm okay with 20 or 24, but I think there are places where 20 would probably, work. But that's why we're discussing it here this morning. And if it says 20-foot minimum, I think it leaves it open to that it could be greater than 20 foot.
I
Yeah.
like the 20-foot minimum.
Instead of a 24 foot minimum?
I mean, it's like what Randy said, if he goes out there, we've got the road's a little bit narrow, and they need a little bit more, put a little bit more on there.
Right, and that will be in our, policy here. I think that we stated in there, you know, that'll be at the discretion of the inspector and the layout of how it all works as far as for drainage and, you know, accessibility there. Because some of those, and that's where I'm getting at with what I was saying, and what I've looked at is a lot of these roads and stuff, you're coming in even off of, like say, most of our gravel roads and everything, and you're pulling in off of those. Well, it's not as wide as a paved road, most generally. So with that being said, even a 16-foot trailer, and they're pulling that around through there, you're still putting that inside rear axle off the edge of the culvert at 20 foot.
And I don't disagree. My culverts, or my one culvert at the house, I have to swing way out there.
Almost drop your tire off the far side to come in.
Or put a wheel in the ditch on the other side, you know, so I totally understand what you're saying.
And that's where I think we're gonna end up damaging the edge of the culverts. We're gonna be working on that, we're gonna be replacing that, and more often, if we stay with that, we don't gain that extra 2 to 3 feet, which in this case would be 4 feet over that 20-foot culvert.
Could be, but again, I think the 20 foot, there would be locations that it might be now I'm not gonna call it a subdivision, but that's what I'll call it, a subdivision, where it might be a new subdivision, the road's wider and a 20 foot would be fine. And this still gives us the option to be able to, not recommend, but it would have to be 24 foot or greater maybe even, so.
Oh, yeah, I think we have that. I mean, like I said, depending on how we set the policy together, we have that option, you know, of always making it greater, because there's gonna be some places where they say, well, I just wanna buy a 20. You're saying, well, you're pulling, you know, 40-foot box trailers and stuff in and out of here. You gotta have a 36 footer. You know, so yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so, then if we change where it says driveway and entrance application, as opposed to permit, and we leave the where it says office use only, and we leave the length at 20-foot minimum. Is there any other modifications we'd like to make to that?
I believe I'm good with that.
Okay, Theresa, you got that? Okay.
And that's just for this sheet, are you gonna look at the other sheets also?
We are,
Okay, good.
yeah,
Okay.
we are.
So I sent you here.
All right, then, so Joe is a reference point, which one are you looking at now?
The one that I had made up.
The Laclede County, okay, so.
Similar to one that you'd had in that, but with a few changes like that.
Are they marked through changes, or did you retype something?
No, retyped.
You retyped, okay, can I get a copy? Can I get, do you have a copy of
Copy
that?
too.
I got it, I just have one on the phone, so,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I texted it to him, I tried to email it to you. Is this, while she's out doing that, is this here something that's already been in play, or is this something that we're,
Well,
making new?
so, we had done that, a few months ago as a result of, a minor accident that should not have taken place because there were procedures not being followed.
Mhm.
So at that time, thank you, at that time, this was drafted and quasi-approved, and I wanted to, bring that to, your attention and Eric's attention and Jared's attention, because that's something that we probably need to just
Updated.
just reinforce. I don't know anything needs updated, maybe, but at the same time, I think it needs to be reinforced as a reminder that, you know, we're out here cutting brush, we're grading roads, where do we place the signs
Right.
at, and so forth.
and then just get everybody, all employees,
Yeah, and.
to sign off on it.
Yeah, and,
Okay.
and, you know, with Jared on board, maybe if, you know, he has a shop meeting one morning and they review that. It doesn't hurt to have some of those reminders along the way.
Exactly.
All right, so general, are there any changes, Joe, before I go here between, gravel, rock, field dirt, you added that, shall be the responsibility of the applicant, is that what you added?
Yeah. You added that in there, yeah.
All right, so let me read through this. So the first line, quoting the statute, that remained the same. That,
Absolutely.
okay. And then the other is the property owner is responsible for providing, placing initial and replacement driveway entrance culverts on site. So we talked about that replacement. So what's our understanding of what a replacement height is? If this is in the right of way, which it would be, historically, the position of the county has been the landowner would purchase the first culvert, and we would install it. And then after that, the county would be responsible for replacement culverts. So this would be a shift from what has been practiced for a number of years. So is that what I'm understanding?
No, I've got that misdone right there.
Okay.
You were correct with the way that is. And what I meant by that is, I've been seeing, and I've had several phone calls where people are putting in a second driveway. So, and that's where I've got that written up wrong there. And I think Erik had actually brought that to my attention as well. So basically, it was supposed to be for replacement of the driveway
Can we say
for new
additional?
entrance, yeah, additional.
Can we
Probably
say
should've said yes.
the property owner is responsible for providing and placing initial and additional
Mhm.
driveway?
Yes, sir.
Would that work?
Yep, I think so.
Okay. And then the rest of that will continue to make sure it's properly installed. And we'll do that.
Mhm.
All right, and then so are we in agreement on section 1 then? Gives us the statutory authority to control our right of ways. And then it speaks to, the responsibility of the landowner for the initial and additional driveway culverts.
You might wanna put something in there, if they decide at a later date that they want an extension.
I think that would be telling
Is
you.
that down in there somewhere?
Blue, so did you not read what I texted you?
I did, but that's been a little while, so. Driveway extensions, okay.
And this is just my opinion,
Yes.
so that's why we're going over this, so.
Well, if you're putting initial and additional up here on this line, you might wanna put something about extensions in that line as
Well,
well.
this is just a general up here, and it gets down to the actual specifications. But however you wanna do it, that's why you're going over it too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't guess it really matters where it's at, as long as it's there somewhere, but.
So we okay to leave that in 4, do we wanna move it up to 1 on the extension question?
Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's there somewhere.
Okay, all right, then, section 1, will remain then what we had, changed by just stating additional.
Mhm.
Okay, Teresa, you got that, okay. And then, section 2, the application shall be obtained from the Laclede County Commission, County Clerk's Office, thank you, Linda, prior to construction on initial, residential or commercial driveway entrance, temporary or permanent, onto any county right of way. Are we okay with that?
Believe I am.
All right, section 3, site inspection. Joe, I didn't see any changes from the original to your, update.
No, I think that.
Prior to the property applicant's purchase or acquisition of culvert site, inspection shall be conducted, and that's affirmed through the application that's signed, to determine culvert size, location, safety, and site distances. Okay, and then number 4, specifications, all culverts will be corrugated metal pipe, minimum of 12 inches, new and unused, and a minimum, and when we leave 20 feet there, knowing that the process of the application, will determine what the actual length will be, but it can't be 18, can't be 16, can't be 10, has to be a minimum of 20. Are you okay with that? Unless otherwise authorized by Laclede County Road and Bridge Department.
Would determined be a better word, otherwise determined by the Laclede County Road and Bridge Department? I just am throwing that out there just because they are ultimately the ones that are gonna make that decision. But it's kind of a tomato kind of thing, however you wanna put that.
I'm fine with determined,
I'm good with it.
my command of the English language sometimes is a little short, and a little less than I want.
Amend the authorized to determine?
Determined, okay.
All right, and then the next paragraph speaks to the driveway extension. We okay with that? It says may be permitted, do we wanna put, authorized back there? Seems like we're wanting not to use the word permit. Driveway extensions may be granted at applicant's expense. What's the right word there?
Authorized.
Authorized, okay?
Mhm.
All right, so we'll make that change. And then, I think the next line is pretty self-explanatory. All materials, culvert, rock, etc. must be on site the day before scheduled install day. And then the final line there is for questions, or final paragraph for concerns, questions regarding this policy, please contact the Laclede County Commission, or you can visit the Laclede County website, listed there.
Can I take you back up to 2?
You sure may, Linda.
Same words, just in a different position.
Sure.
An application shall be obtained from the Laclede County Commission prior to construction onto any county right-of-way for an initial residential or commercial driveway entrance. I just think it reads smooth.
Wordsmithing a little bit.
It's same words, it's just placing the paragraph ahead of the other one.
Well, I defer to the English majors in the room, because I wasn't one. And the biochemistry. You know, if
It
that's-
sounded good.
The wordsmithing sounded better,
Yeah.
smoother,
It-
and I think it's direct, so do you wanna get with me afterwards and I'll rewrite that, okay.
It's same words though.
Mhm.
It's just-
Okay, then I would like to speak to, the, maintenance. I got to looking at, so this is we're calling this our, driveway and entrance application, but I don't know if this fits or not, but I'm gonna put it out there anyway. Cause we really don't talk about maintenance in this at all, and I don't know if this might be like an addendum, and we separate it from the process here. But I think while we're doing this, we do need to entertain the maintenance aspect. So then I went back and I looked at, what you guys are looking at, and I would like your thoughts on what we could make as far as a maintenance. It starts out, Laclede County Road and Bridge will maintain the drainage of the culvert, the landowner will maintain the culvert and material that covers the culvert. And then in an effort to keep ditches along our roadways clear of debris, Laclede County Road and Bridge Department will clean them out. And then we go to, and I kind of put a question mark in parentheses around where it starts in this process and ends at the landowner, because that was talking about would require the landowner to purchase the culvert, and this would be a replacement culvert, and I think we've ruled that out, that we don't wanna change that policy at this point in time. And then if you go to the next paragraph, and I just put a question mark around the whole paragraph, the Laclede County Road and Bridge Department has the right to remove any or all culverts that do not meet the minimum requirements of this permit, or we could say application. And we just encountered that, did we not, Joe, on a road where there was a culvert that would have been installed or was installed that did not meet our guidelines, and it's very possible somebody would not intentionally circumvent this process, but maybe through just not knowing, ignorance, that they would install a culvert and then come to find out we have to change it. So I think we wanna put something in there, in this maintenance clause, if you will. The Laclede County Road and Bridge Department also has the right to remove culverts that are non-working. There again, somebody may put in a 8-inch or 10-inch culvert and it just isn't carrying the water, or maybe they didn't even need a culvert and they put one in anyway. And then it talks about then, in the event this occurs, the Laclede County Road and Bridge Department will require the landowner to purchase the culvert, and the Road and Bridge Department will install the culvert at no expense. Read back up there a sentence or two. We have the right to remove any and all culverts that do not meet the requirements. We also have the right to remove culverts that are non-working, and if so, that would, the landowner would bear the expense. So I'm gonna hit the pause button there so we can clean that up if we adopt it, or leave it as it's written.
And I guess we're speaking about culverts that got put in without our inspection and approval, or?
Knowledge of.
Yeah, so, you know, our obligation and responsibility is to maintain
Our road.
the road to the best of our ability, and that's granted by 229-150. And so, for me, I guess the answer to your question would be yes, that we're requiring this so that we can maintain adequate drainage, which we know is one of our biggest issues we have. And so, if I understood the question, if I was paying attention, then I suppose, yes, this is.
So if we roll up on the site and determine that what they have is not working, then we are, in essence, going to force them to put in an application.
To force them to buy the culvert. And Shannon, yeah.
Or
So
it's either that, or we are going to cut a ditch in front of their driveway that needs to be there. Because that's something we're also encountering, is people that don't want to put a culvert in, but there is need for a culvert at that location.
Yeah, so I don't think our intent's ever to be heavy-handed about this. But then I think in most cases, it is our responsibility, and many people may use that road, and it becomes a safety issue and a continual maintenance issue, which requires additional tax dollars. So in my opinion, we're not being heavy-handed. We are implementing a policy that would best meet the needs of all county residents, and not just an individual that chooses not to follow the guidelines. So if not, then do we even have a policy?
So I think we potentially need a whole paragraph speaking to that for, something to the effect that if we feel the need for a culvert at your location, a culvert needs to will be installed at their expense.
we're gonna get into some of those, like you said, the grandfathering in, that you mentioned earlier there's gonna be some of those that are gonna be 10-inch pipes and stuff like that has worked up until, they have filled up, not been maintained, not been cleaned, not anything done. We're getting into situations where it seems like we do have more runoff because of more land and stuff being cleared, and stuff like that, that also has more volume of water that comes through, which inadvertently, those pipes don't carry that flow.
Well, so I think.
But they already had it there once. Sure. So it goes back to that point to where, if it is damaged or filled or something, that's
back on us to maintain our right of way.
That's back on us, and every year, as we budget, we look at the needs. Last couple of years, we have invested, almost double the culvert budget. We didn't this year, the 2 previous years we did because we gained a lot. And so, but this would fall under then a replacement culvert that the county would bear. Would we be able to do all those at once? No, but what we would do is we would determine the greatest need where the problems just reoccur because of lack of drainage, adequate drainage. And those would be the ones we would replace first. And would we do that all in 1 year? No. You know, it might be 3 or 4 or 5 or 10. But that would be determined with the road crew. So I'm not sure exactly what, Erik, that paragraph would look like. But if you want to.
Well, I think that, we need to have the ability to, I don't like using the word, force, okay? That's, but you've got some people who don't want to spend the money for the culvert. So they don't, and we try to be mindful of that place not having a culvert, maybe lightly scratching a waterway instead of cutting that ditch like it needs to be cut to keep the water off of our road. Does that make sense?
And you have to cut their driveway as well,
Yes.
just like what I had done out there on Kansas Road when it got put in. You know, when I'm standing out there in the rain and I'm watching the rain hit that where they put that in and it comes right out into our road and shoots across over and deposited all of our gravel and rock into the neighbor on the opposite side of the road's
Yes.
yard, something had to be done. So I sent a grade right there and I cut that drive out, cause it was eating the road away. You know, and now we've got it taken care of. Before they did get the pipe, we finally got the pipe in there and stuff taken care of, and everything's going great now.
Crest of a hill, top of a hill, both ways, you don't need one.
No,
Okay.
no, and that's just common sense.
But if you're downhill a little bit and you don't wanna put a culvert in because you don't want to pay for it, there needs to be something spoken about here that, I think it is our road and bridge department's determination on whether a culvert goes into that driveway entrance.
Okay, so then that's gonna bring up the question, this has come up before, where you make that cut and that same landowner does not want that to run down into their field.
I'm just speaking about ditches, I'm not
I
speaking of.
Ditches and
understand
roadway,
that,
but when
but if
you-
I'm going down a hill and I'm not putting a culvert in there, if I can maintain a ditch and keep the water flowing all the way through that culvert on down further. But I think what I'm hearing is we're gonna scratch or cut above that driveway somehow where, no?
Not for me.
Okay,
Scratching the driveway.
No, here's
okay.
your driveway, and I take that blade and I go right across your driveway.
Okay, and I
Back in
understand
my
that,
ditch
is
line.
that going to maintain the integrity of the roadway?
So it's gonna fill right back up again, because it's already got that force coming through.
And I don't know how many of these we would have out there like that,
There's a few,
but are those, so those are existing,
yes.
okay? And so that landowner's been the same landowner for many years,
The one that's coming into my mind, yes.
okay? Is that a problem right now on that road?
Yes.
Okay, does it need any cross pipes put in? I know we're getting a little bit of weeds, but it might help, clear
So,
out the.
you know, there's been a little bit of talk of that, And in the particular instance I'm thinking of, that is not the best option, but it is an option.
Okay, so is there some type of, thought process where then there's a hardship clause here, where because the landowner can't, as opposed to doesn't want to, because we have the obligation to maintain that road in good shape. And if we're sending additional county resources, whether it be grader, material, or whatever, are we doing other landowners, adjacent landowners, and the people that travel, and the schools that drive that, and the milk truck, and the trash haulers, and so forth? Are we taking, everything into consideration there?
Over a period of time, your expenses are gonna be more. And like you said, if we done something due to a hardship part deal.
If it's truly a hardship case.
Absolutely.
But there may be cases where somebody just says, no, I'm defiant. Randy Angst has been like that before. I'm defiant, you're not gonna make me do it, and I'm not gonna pay for it. So then what do you do?
You cut your ditch. And
And then you continue to maintain the road more often than you would have to as a,
you cut your ditch like you wanna cut your ditch, and then they come down there with their tractor and a little bucket, and then they fill it back in, so they're not running through the ditch to get into their driveway.
No, you don't.
That's what happens.
so what have we gained by this?
Nothing.
Upset citizens.
Yeah. So are we going to let the, defiant one not put his culvert in, and
Okay,
Is
so,
in the new driveway either, is it?
no?
You gotta think about that. Cause of what our policy and stuff seems to be reading. I mean, that's, like you said, when you're gonna get into maybe some of those weeds on some of that, but you're also looking at that part of the grandfather in, switching some of that stuff out. You know, even if it does become non-working, we switch a lot of those out, even cross pipes and everything else. And, one time whenever they fill up and they don't work, they get damaged, and everything, so we're switching those out.
so maybe, let me rephrase this then. So the reason why, in the example that you're using, is just the landowner doesn't want to bear the expense.
I think so.
Okay, so it's not that they don't object to a culvert being there, it's just they don't wanna pay for it. They think it's our responsibility, okay?
Hell, I don't even know if that's, that they think it's our responsibility, they're just not interested in paying for a culvert.
Okay, all right, so what would the thoughts of the commission be then? Because if we are remediating that road more often than necessary, because we didn't put a culvert in, what would the commission be willing to do to put a culvert in there in these one-off cases? You know, this could be one, this could be 100 out there. I've never encountered this before, so this is a new scenario to me. And then I'll take it to the extreme. If our responsibility is to maintain the integrity of the roads for the good of all, not the good of one, then other things can be considered as well. I don't want somebody coming down my road, I'm gonna put a berm in there.
Speed bump?
I'm gonna put an obstruction in there, and we have had this happen. I'm gonna put a gate up across the road because I don't want somebody to come down there. We have a responsibility that sometimes we have to enforce measures because it is our responsibility for all taxpayers. Those are extremes, but,
And it's going to happen more, okay? You know, there is no, permitting, as far as I understand it or know, for me to put a driveway off of a county road.
Well, there is, it goes back to section 229-150 Missouri statutes. We regulate the installation and removal of all culverts.
The county right of way is what you're basically getting
Yeah.
after.
But
If they're doing something to be destructive to the right of way, affects the roads and stuff, that's where we can step in for that statute. Is that correct?
That's, I think it's very, very clear.
So if they're refusing to put a culvert in and it is affecting our road and our right of way, then
Yeah, it's statute.
You know, it wasn't too long ago, out on a road that I traveled frequently, somebody started filling up the ditches with a lot of rocks. You know, that would ultimately undermine our road bed, cause water to come up over the top of the road or go underneath, and they had to be asked to remove them, which they did, and they did very promptly.
so if there's a statute that speaks to this, then why do we, I understand why, for the good of our road, but why would we then go with some kind of hardship deal and put that culvert in at our expense? And not ask them to put their culvert in across their driveway?
And I'm not suggesting that, but what I was hearing was there could be individuals that would refuse that. And if that were the case, then my thought was, well, is that a hardship case where the commission would look at it and say, okay, we would be willing to bear that burden as opposed to them replacing it. I don't know if we want to go to the extreme of trying to put any type of a tax lien on a property. Don't even know if we should. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not.
So-
Like you said, that's extreme. That's-
Yeah, okay, but then that comes back to, you know, being a good neighbor, being respectful of everybody who uses that road. Mr. Landowner, Mrs. Landowner, this is what we need to get done. And this is the proper way to get it done. And then if you just hit that wall, then would there be a hardship case that could be made that, okay, the county will bear that cost? And if so, then do you open it up to the fact that every culvert then becomes a hardship case?
There you go.
And as a result, then we're putting in all new installs, which is defeating the reason why we're doing this, and also it's depleting our ability to continue to do proper maintenance because of the pressure on the budget. And just again, a road that I frequently travel, there's probably been probably 4 new culverts installed in the last year, and so we have larger parcels of land being divided. And again, I look at it like a utility. You call the co-op and they come out and they're going to say, okay, here's where we'll set the pole, and from here to the house, it's on you. You call the water district and you want to hook up the county water, here's where we set the meter, and from here to the house is your responsibility. We're really not doing anything different than any other utility if we want to look at it in that sense. What's the enforcement mechanism they have? Well, you don't get water, you don't get electricity. What's our enforcement mechanism?
You don't get a driveway.
Not sure we have a good path there.
Not either, because even with that, like you said, they just drive through the ditch anyway, which then, you know, takes care of the integrity of the road there as well. You know, but if you're doing that in the ditch, which is gonna burn them up eventually and cut into the road, because I've seen that happen as well on a couple other roads. So,
I think we ought to move forward. My recommendation, we move forward with our with our process that we've undertaken.
Yes.
And then we may have individual, instances where we're gonna have to visit, and we may have to have some conversations. So who's the wordsmith on that?
So are we going to, at no expense to the landowner?
That's installing the culverts.
Do not, I mean, the minimum, I mean, that's, if we're gonna ask them to, provide materials there, then there will be some expense.
Well, he's talking about on this part right here, you've gotta read this whole thing, because whenever you come through that, the Laclede County Road and Bridge Department also has the right to remove a culvert that is non-working. In the event this occurs, the Laclede County Road and Bridge Department will require the landowner to purchase the culvert, and the Road and Bridge Department will install at no expense. Okay, well, if it becomes non-working, means there's one already in there.
Right.
So that's already, I feel that's already our obligation anyway, that is ours anyway, for the materials, the culvert, everything for that replacement, because it's already embedded into our right of way. It's not a new driveway, it's not an additional driveway, it's not.
This is speaking to the ones that don't meet the minimum requirements.
Well, we mentioned the grandfathering in though, and there's already some out there that, we got culverts that aren't but 12, 16 foot wide also. So,
And I think we need to keep this in mind, and I need to remind myself, this is the reason why I'm saying this. Our county is growing. We have, again, larger parcels of land that are being subdivided. There's more stress on there's more usage on the road. So this is just being proactive, future sense, right? And this will just lay the groundwork of what would be a best practice going forward. There's gonna be instances again where we're going to have to come up with a solution that we don't see right now. But going forward, this is the path that we need to take, because we've all agreed that we wanna leave the campground better than we found it, right? And so this is a way that we can establish a formal process that's not punitive to anyone, but also provides a greater benefit, because we're gonna do a better job maintaining the county road. So this is forward-looking as opposed to looking back, is the way I see it. And I just needed to remind myself of that, so. None of this is intended to be punitive, period.
correct, yeah. No, we're trying to do this, all this, like you said, for the better good of the county and its citizens, so.
And we have conversations that we don't know whether they would ever come to fruition, but, you know, they're talking here, when the county commission designates a county road to be asphalt or chip sealed, the preparation of the road is critical. And that could require more on us, you know, that could mean we're putting in more culverts, to be able to, properly, prepare that and be able to maintain it, so. So if we can agree on, maintenance, language here, which I think we can, I think we just put maintenance as section 5 maybe, and we get all this on one page, not put in as an addendum. It's just our general, policy, and maintenance is a big part of that, so. So if we go back up under maintenance and just let's go back to the top, the Laclede County Road and Bridge will maintain the drainage of the culvert, the landowner will maintain the culvert and material that covers the culvert. Are we okay with that? If the gravel in my driveway gets pretty thin, I'm gonna keep my culvert cleaned. Or covered, not clean, covered. All right. And then if we take the next bullet point, in an effort to keep the ditches along the roadways clear of debris, the Laclede County Road and Bridge Department will clean them out. That just really states what we normally do, but it's part of maintenance. And then the question becomes, in this process, a culvert may need to be replaced. And I think we could strike that part and we could say that, in the event, this occurs and a replacement culvert is necessary, it will be installed at no expense to the landowner. How about something like that?
I'm good with that.
You okay with that? Okay. And if you go to the third bullet point, the Laclede County, and I'll just say Laclede County instead of Road and Bridge, has the right to remove any or all culverts that do not meet the minimum requirements of this application. So it's this application, it's not something that was done 20 years ago. This is this application. And then Laclede County also has to remove culverts that are non-working. In the event this occurs, the county will require the landowner to purchase a culvert, and the Road and Bridge Department will install the culvert at no expense. So what we might do is incorporate that. The county has the right to remove any and all culverts that do not meet the minimum requirements, and has the right to remove non-working culverts. And then the question then becomes, at whose expense?
Well, if we're speaking to this application process, then that,
It would just be the minimum.
we're the ones that approved the application and put it in, so
Yeah.
that's not even going to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah, because that would be back to what you were saying there, that'd be back toward the application, so they're the ones putting in an application for this, so at that point, if that is wrong, then that would still be back on them. Is that what you're saying?
no, because, we're the ones that put it in, per the application.
Oh, you're talking prior,
No,
I thought you were talking about with the application.
that's what we're speaking to right now, is this application process, so.
Okay, so they don't come in to, submit an application.
Okay,
And then we discover that they put in a pipe that doesn't meet our guidelines.
That's what
that
I'm
has nothing to
getting.
do with this application, because
Okay.
they just bypassed that.
Then let's put that in the application then. Somehow. Which doesn't make sense either, because they didn't come in to see it. So then it does fall back under maintenance.
Yeah, we fall back under maintenance, that's what I'm saying, that's where you get out there, like what we've done recently, we get out there and bam, there it is. You know, so that's what I can see that's what that's referring back to, is that they had went around, they did not contact the county on a county road to be in the right of way to put in a culvert that doesn't meet the standards.
But we're trying to put an application together.
Which that's gonna go back to, we're gonna go about the split of this development.
Well, maybe, but maybe not, because when they get an application, they're gonna get a copy of the policy. And if they don't get this, then we are gonna have to visit, we're gonna have to knock on the door and say, this culvert, which I think we did recently, is that right, Joe? This culvert can't remain here, it doesn't meet the, criteria that's that's been established. So section 5 becomes maintenance. Is that part of the application process? Yeah, because here's what grants us the authority. This is what's expected of you, this is what's expected of us, and here's the specifications, and here's the maintenance that follows. And keep in mind that, if this needs revisited a year from now, it can be. We're here making a decision to the best of our ability on what we believe today and know to be factual, but a year from now, there could be something that we look at and say, okay, we need to amend that or modify it.
Right, because you're gonna have that deal that I believe is taking place where you actually have this developer that's doing this at some of this property, and then they sell it, and then we come back, we find it out to be done, then it's, now we're going back on and just bought that house or that
Okay,
property.
so that's a really good segue into an email I had, last night, and I'm bringing it up now as part of this because it may help with the discussion, is we have a private road out here that a developer had built. It's one that we don't maintain because it's a private road, and of course, quote unquote, I'm a taxpayer, you should be maintaining my road. So then the conversation would be, we'd be more than happy to receive a petition to have this become a county road. Now, as part of that process, you have to meet county standards. So then that comes back to our application process in a sense, right? Your road has to be a certain width, you have to have proper drainage and so forth. So I just bring that back in, for whatever that is worth, because we're gonna encounter that, as well. So how do you enforce that? Well, we don't take over the road, we don't accept title to it until it meets our standards. So we are dealing with that when you're talking about subdivision and more people may be dividing the land. I think that was a good segue for a minute, and I'll go into more detail after we wrap this, but.
Yeah, with that, what I'm saying though is, when do we have, cause it's gonna fall back on the developer, it's gonna fall back on the guy that just purchased that, not knowing that it is already on a county road. We're just talking about just the driveway part there in our right of way that has the wrong pipe, that doesn't meet our specs.
Well, so we would have to fall, at that point, it's gonna fall back on whoever submits the petition in my example, right? Because those landowners are gonna have to bring this up to county specifications before we adopt it in as a county road.
Well, that's not, and I'm saying it's when we go out there and we find out that it's not right, like what we had.
And it's an existing county road. Okay,
That's what I'm getting at there, is we made it out there.
and has that been out
Because of
there,
some-
has it been out there for a year, 10 years, or is this one that just got put in?
The one that was causing the issue and stuff like that, that we feel was causing the issue, the reason that wanted for us to go out there was just built probably within the last, I don't know, 4 months, 6 months.
Okay, so, again, if we're for, we'll push this out. It's likely the newspaper will have some type of article on this. We may get some phone calls. We'll put it on our website and we'll distribute that. We'll put a Facebook post, and again, it's not punitive, it's just information. Before you do this, you have to call this number. You have to come in, before you dig, you have to call dig right? So what we're trying to do is be as proactive, future looking, forward looking, and we're gonna get caught up in these one-offs. There's no doubt in my mind we're gonna get caught up in it. But by having put together a policy and having it out there, probably the ones that will be looking at this will be likely the ones that are new moving into the area, as opposed to those of us who've lived here all of our life. We may know most of this if we've lived here all of our life. And then you take into consideration common sense, and we have road graders out there. If they see something some activity that they think needs the attention of the road and bridge foreman or the commission, then we will try and be as proactive as we possibly can to avoid any unnecessary grievances on anybody's part. I think most people, when they call us, they want us to improve their road somehow, whatever that looks like to them, whatever it can be. So back to the maintenance part then. So, was I at 3, bullet point 3?
Yep.
All right, so the first line, the county has the right to remove any and all culverts that do not meet the minimum requirements. And we don't have to say application there. Or we do. We probably do. And the county also has right to remove culverts that are non-working, so, so somebody puts in they did not get the application, they did not, follow the approved guidelines, and they put in a culvert that's not 12 inches and 20 foot long. They put in a 10-inch by 12 foot, and we deem it has to be larger than that. So we retain the right to remove a non-working culvert. Theresa, you really didn't want to make signs, any more signs today, did you? And then if we let that stand there, then in the event this occurs, the county will require the landowner to purchase the culvert, and the county will install the culvert at no expense to the landowner. Would we not have done that anyway?
Would we not have replaced it if it wasn't working?
No, what I'm saying is, because this is, I think this is referring to the application, the installation process. We have the right to remove any and all culverts that do not meet, so that obviously they didn't pull an application, and then we go out there, it didn't meet the requirement, so that kind of classifies it as a non-working, and then we say, okay, it needs to be a minimum of 12-inch diameter and 20 foot in length, or you don't even need a culvert here. Who knows, right? That's the whole reason behind this. So then we would be doing what we'd be asking anybody else. We would be asking to, we'd go out and inspect it. We'd say, you need this, and you can purchase it here, wherever you want, and we're gonna come and install it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna wade out into it there. Is there, still going back to the grandfathering part of that, where's the timeline? The timeline start today? Those culverts and stuff, we're gonna make them purchase that, you know, or is it anything
Okay,
within?
so if it's something.
Because if something was done 15 years ago,
Well,
and it's non-working, but it's been in our right of way the whole time,
we have historically replaced those.
well, that's what I'm wanting to make sure of.
Yeah.
That, to me, I'm still getting stuck on that myself. For some odd reason, I'm still getting stuck there,
Okay.
so.
Again, it's not to be punitive.
Right.
So if that culvert has been there 15 years, and we have maintained, and we might know or we might not know whether that landowner purchased that. But I think the assumption has to be made at that point that they did. Because we don't have any records. Now, going forward, we've started maintaining a lot of records on culverts that maybe we hadn't in the past. You know, we have locations where they're put in and then as time goes on, we'll have a file here that some future commission can look at and say, what the heck were those guys thinking?
For sure.
I think by keeping the word may in there, which it's in there, it kind of gives that opening for the discussions, kind of what you're talking about, those one-offs, that it's like somebody's bringing this to you by keeping it may, it's not definitive, meaning, no, we're not gonna do this. But that way it does keep it open, and I think that language is in there for that, because you keep talking about it's not punitive. I could keep going back here, what if they break the statute? Who enforces it? Well, if you're not gonna do that, then keep the word may in there. And that way, they can come and talk to you about that. It's up for discussions. So, that was my thoughts on it, by keeping may in there. Keeps it open.
So Joe, with that explanation, would you be willing to, agree to number 3 then? Cause this is still part of the application process, so it's not looking back and saying that.
Well, you're saying, Ms. Theresa, the may would take care of the will?
Yeah, because the may is meaning open discussion.
Yeah.
Based on our determination, our expertise on saying this is a poor culvert, we need to talk about it, yeah.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, unless
Yes.
where you want to put that may instead of that will.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. With that being said, I'm a little bit more
Does
leaning
that
for
sound
that,
good to
yeah.
everybody?
Okay, all right, and then, bullet point 4, if we designate a county road, it's gonna be asphalt or chip sealed. Obviously, the preparation is critical, ditching and drainage is critical, crowning is critical, subgrade is critical. Laclede County will form the landowner a proper size culvert and will require the landowner to purchase the culvert. I'm going to assume in this case that if we go to that expense, this is a road that's probably has been there for a length of time, could be a brand new road, but culverts are already gonna be there in place, and as part of our upgrade, we would install the proper culverts. Cause that's gonna be a major upgrade to that road, and we would not undertake that project half-heartedly. So if we had to put in 10 extra culverts on 2 mile of road, we would be foolish not to do that.
Mhm.
So I don't see a reason to put, the burden there back on the landowner. Cause that's probably either a new subdivision, or maybe, in that case, it would meet our requirements.
So you're saying pretty much just strike that the Laclede County Road and Bridge
I think
Department will
so.
inform the landowner of the proper size culvert and will require the landowner
Yeah.
to purchase?
Yeah.
That's just struck from there.
And then I think bullet point 5, we reserve the right to reject or refuse certain guidelines of this permit based on certain situations. The culvert may or may not be needed at the crest of the hill, and then we have the disclaimer. Refusal to comply may lead to removal, there's a key word, failure to comply will result in installation expenses to the landowner. But, and I think then the maintenance could be section 5 over here, and we get all that on one page. And so, anything to add? Maybe get Theresa to get that typed up for us, and then at next Tuesday, we'll all have a copy of that.
See if we can go through and have a final.
Please. Oh, that I know of.
Can I use my personal email to send him an email, or can somebody?
I'll give you commission,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'll make a copy of what you struck out that sentence, just to make sure, I think I wrote it down correctly, but I don't know.
Okay, anything else? I think that was a healthy discussion, and I think it's a good first step moving forward, so. We're still in general county business.
I don't know, this was in my box, I don't know if you put it there, or somebody else did.
Joe, I get sometimes stuff laying on my desk that comes in the mail, and I'll put it in, and I know you had an interest in that concept or something similar, and I thought that would maybe be something you would want to look at.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, I wanna make some contact and visit with them a little bit. Cause we've got a culvert that's, I was brainstorming and had a few other people look at it, step two, and brought it to a few of the other attention. Special road for one, City of Lebanon, their Vector truck and stuff as well. Just trying to get some information on how to resolve an issue we got on Jewel Road out there. And of course, with our road foreman and stuff, he's looked at it as well. And was coming up with some way to clean that out. It's such a large area that, you know, no jetter, pressure wash, anything else, but it's not big enough to warrant getting a backhoe or even the mini arm up in there and getting anything done. You know, it's such a small, like 30 inches tall, but it's like 9 foot long. So all the way across the roadway. So well, that's just kind of the concept I had in mind as far as doing a little push, pull, drag, and that's exactly what that's doing, so.
So is anybody aware of a petition that's been submitted for Hillsdale Lane? Is anybody,
I've not heard
I
of anything.
am not aware of it.
Nope.
Linda, is
I've been
anybody?
on it,
Received
but
anything.
now I'm having trouble placing it.
That's where I'm at, Hillsdale.
Okay, so this is in reference to the email that I received, and I will make sure that this individual then gets another application, but they're alluding to the fact that somebody had sent he had signed an application, and it's called Hillsdale Road. It is a private road. It's one that we do not maintain. It says, talks about, let's see, our road, you know, the condition isn't where they want it to be, obviously. It says we park the county's graders at the beginning of a road, which, you know, we provide the landowners permission to do that.
Parking there at this Hillsdale Lane is what it said.
That Hillsdale Road, that's what it says. Let's see. We signed a petition to have the county take it over, have heard nothing back. So I will reach out to this individual and ask him to, if he wants me to mail him a petition. And I did email him back last night, mentioning that I'd be willing to do that after I had time to look to see if there was an existing petition in our possession. And I'll also make him aware of the process, not only the petition, but it has to be brought up to county specs, so they might understand in advance that they're going to incur some expenses to, in order for us to consider it. So if no one's aware of that, then I will reach back out to this individual and I will recommend that they either come by and pick up a new petition and or I'll be happy to mail it to them, okay?
Yeah, I guess he didn't timestamp it as when he sent in the petition or anything?
No, it just says we signed a petition to have the county take it over and have heard nothing back. But I'm confident that if a commission would have received a copy of that, if it had been dropped off. I wasn't aware of it, you're not aware of it, Eric's not aware of it, Lynn's not aware of it, so.
Exactly.
somebody still has that, but it's not here. So I'll take care of that.
Where's it located? It's not in a special
Looks like
road
no
district.
No.
drive.
It's,
On the no one?
yeah.
Okay.
Here's WW,
Mm-hmm.
there's Hillsdale.
Yeah, cause there's Benny Williams' place right there, that's Al Nutter place. Right there, I believe, so. So they cutting that new road up through there. That's called Hillsdale.
Here's one of the pictures that they sent.
It looks good.
Yeah, it is in pretty bad shape there. But they had water though. Definitely had some water. I'll definitely drive out there and take a look at that. Because, yeah.
That's what pulled up anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, any other general county business? Okay, we'll go into public comments, items listed on the agenda.
For that, driveway and entrance policy, was that just for commercial landowners or was it for residential too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question. Okay. We'll go to routine business. Did everybody have a chance to see the accounts payable?
You bet.
I guess, Theresa, we'll just wait till you dot your i's and cross your t's. And
Dot
put
our
your
i's.
periods in there.
Dot.
Yes, it was you and Steve. Yeah,
I can email it to him off
Okay.
mine. I'm still trying to figure out that stuff out,
Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome. Thank you.
begrudgingly.
Yeah.
So the next one coming down without any names, I'm just asking, and I think we've had some discussion on it, but I need some clarification. In the case of the next payroll change that's being submitted, there's some conditions that we know have to be met that have been communicated. Is that the true statement?
I believe so.
Okay. I mean, that's
Yes.
that's my understanding.
Yes.
Okay. And then also, if we do not have an opening at the greater level, then does this individual know that then wherever that moves them, then that would determine what their rate of pay would be at that time? Kind of like what we did with another individual. I think we moved from one place to.
I need to confirm that with
Okay.
Mr. Shepherd to
Okay.
make sure that has been put out there, because I know that we had talked on a couple of things and stuff, cause he just wanted to make aware, and I told him, just put it to him just like how it was discussed.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll confirm that and get you back in answer.
It just could prevent some
Backlash.
yeah, later on down the road, and it may correct itself.
Right.
comments, items not listed on the agenda? Other business? Anything that you might wanna see on the agenda for next week?
Not at this time, but I have.
Okay.
You never know what phone call may change that, though.
Yeah, that's true, or somebody could call and wanna come in, or
Correct.
even something come up. I haven't received anything on that second opioid, settlement. I did submit, which I said, I did submit the information on the first one, but I haven't heard anything on the second one. So, one thing I think I've got from an update standpoint.
Next Monday, not a meeting, but just a, I guess, reminder that the insurance will be back at Road and Bridge at 6:30 Monday morning to have a second month meeting. Going over, I'm not sure exactly what they're gonna go over, quite honestly.
So did we get that out to Jared, or?
I'm sure it has, I'm just looking at what next month, or next week could hold, and so that was all.
I guess I'm gonna ask the question, why do they have to have another one?
Because
They were the
it's
same
supposed to
thing.
help our premiums.
Well, I understand, but I thought we was only supposed to have 3, and we've already had 1 here, and we've had 1 there.
Like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, three for everybody.
Okay, so based upon participation, is it not possible we just bring them back here and have the 3rd one here? I don't think it's gonna help at Road and Bridge to have another one myself, that's just,
Then that would be something to call the insurance agent about. We can do that.
yeah, well, why don't we? Because, for the most part, the only question was,
I don't know if they're bringing new information to.
okay, so that's really what we need to know. If they're not bringing new information, I think it's counterproductive to have that at Road and Bridge. I think half the guys gonna be attentive, and some of them weren't attentive, and that was rude. I just don't think it's gonna be a good investment of time at Road and Bridge. Do I think it'd be any better attended here? No. Do I think it's necessary? Yes. But I'd rather see it here than I would over at Road and Bridge. My thoughts, your thoughts.
Well, I'd say that that's probably a pretty good assumption there, because from my take on it, that whenever they was out there the last time, yeah, less than half was even paying any attention.
Well, we had quite a bit going on,
We did at that point, I mean, but
but I'm not gonna argue with Randy on the.
But I do know that at least half of that also did not want to sit there through that.
No.
They wanted to go ahead and get out on the road and get out of there.
So a phone call to see what they're gonna bring.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
And to say that the meetings are there for the one that learned something from it, then it was worth it.
Absolutely, yeah, for the ones that
Yeah.
needed.
Even if there was only one that learned that he could do something that he didn't know he could do before, then it's worth it.
Mhm.
But,
That's where I think you'll get more of like what Randy was saying, if you have it here, and if there's somebody there that does have a question or that, they come here from Road and Bridge, they can come here to attend that meeting, is that what you're saying?
That'd be fine by me. I don't wanna interrupt their schedule. The only question that was asked was, and I'm not sure it was a question, but the statement was made that it would be nice if we could offer something that the county would contribute towards a spouse or family insurance. And, my response was that would you as an individual be willing to pay something in the way of a, it's not called a copay, what's it called?
Yeah, pay towards it.
Yeah,
That's because it's going up everywhere.
Exactly.
and for us old folks, the government is now contracting with, a company that's gonna use AI, so that in 6 states, people that are on Medicare, which, I know someone very dear that's soon to be on Medicare, they will start making determinations as to the need of a procedure, which then is going to shrink, so you have your Medicare Advantage. You guys are too young, the system's gonna change before you ever get there. But right now, you can do a Medicare Advantage with 0 premium in most cases, and you get all this stuff for free. But you have to get prior approval. And so that private sector insurance company can decide whether you need that knee replaced or not, or where you might even go to have it done. If you stay with traditional Medicare, there's no prior approval needed. But with this new policy in place, the government's gonna use AI to now determine in 6 states, they're gonna start gathering their data and determine, okay, does this person need this, and if so, they will have to get prior approval. So what an insurance told me the other day, insurance agent told me the other day, and it was before I read this article, is that the traditional Medicare, exactly.
It's because they don't control it.
Exactly. Anyway, on that positive note, there's nothing else to come before the commission. Let's see, Jack, you're probably, you can turn
You're
that
way
off
too young.
if you want, but you're probably like 25, I don't know, so in 40 years, we're at 2065 and you're 65 years old, and I don't know, I think a robot's gonna replace you.
It's a happy thought.
You know, it's fascinating and exciting and sometimes scary all in the same breath. All right, I don't have anything else, guys.
I don't find it exciting at all.
Nope.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Let's adjourn.